How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. I need to cover some of the big news from the week because we're going so quickly in crypto right now. So many things are happening. It's easy to forget some of the stuff that was happening just 1 week ago. So we're going to cover some of the big news from the week and walk you through some big developments in some of these different cryptos. If you guys don't mind, hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button. My voice is getting better, but it's not 100% back to normal. So hitting that like, hitting the subscribe tells me that you guys like this. Obviously, the elephant in the room, or the biggest thing that we have to talk about, is the Bitcoin ETF that started trading this week. It was the fastest ETF ever to hit $1 billion assets under management. Now, we did see a lot of excitement behind this, and we actually saw Bitcoin hit all-time highs and blow past all-time highs by about $2,000. Since then, it's obviously retraced back down to about 61,000. We've found support a couple times. I'm shooting this on Saturday. We've seen support a couple times right around 60,000. We have dipped below a little bit. Ethereum also showing some bullish momentum. A lot of people were excited about this ETF, and it is not the only ETF that started trading this week. A second Bitcoin futures ETF started, and then a third will launch next week. So a lot of people think that these are the reason Bitcoin's actually going up dramatically. But there's another theory, which I'm a little bit more keen on, which is that it's because of inflation. Powell says supply side constraints have worsened, creating more inflation risk. When you think about inflation, right, we usually think about CPI, which is 4, 5, 6% right now, which is high compared to the 2% the Fed usually wants it at. But when you think about people trying to get wealthy, right, they're not spending the majority of their money on bread and everyday items. The really wealthy are spending it on assets, and assets are going up exponentially, right? If you want to become rich and you're investing half your income, you think about the inflation from an asset perspective, and it's much higher. So Bitcoin, or any asset that you invest in, has to beat that 20% inflation that every single asset seems to be going through right now. Now, we did get some news. This is pretty exciting for adoption, that there are going to be 200 Bitcoin ATMs located in Walmarts across the US, and there are already some that are showing up. So giving more access to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in Walmart, it's a good thing. It's not really massive like some of the other news we're about to cover, but it is nice to see just it becoming a little bit more mainstream. Now, if you're wondering if you should start investing and you want to take that first step, or maybe you already have some cryptos, but you want some interest, I would suggest BlockFi. I work with them. There's a link underneath the video. They pay a bonus, but they also pay interest. They pay interest just for holding it there, and it's a really easy way of getting some passive income on your cryptocurrencies just for holding on BlockFi. Now, one big piece of news that came out this week was Houston's firefighter retirement fund now is buying $25 million worth of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, $25 million might not sound like a lot when you consider how big these different market caps are, but pensions hold a significant amount of money. I mean, we're talking about tens and tens and tens of trillions of dollars. So if they start dollar cost averaging in, that's going to be huge. And they're not the only adoption story this week. Interactive Brokers is launching crypto trading for financial advisors in the US. Now, Interactive Brokers is a pretty big broker itself, right? It has like $360 billion of AUM. The average client account size is $250,000, give or take. But this is bigger because all financial advisors can now use Interactive Brokers if they want exposure to crypto. Now, SEC registered investment advisors manage more than $110 trillion, which is huge. I mean, think about just a 1 or 2% allocation towards crypto over the coming years. As it becomes more mainstream, obviously it will take up a larger and larger part of a portfolio. Now, moving on to Ethereum, over $2 billion in Ethereum has been burned by EIP 1559. Now, that has grown exponentially this week, even just over the last days. It's up near $2.5 billion now with the price going up. And it's going to continue to be burned, taking it off the open markets. The supply is very far down. I just made a video yesterday talking about Ethereum. If you guys want to see that, you can check out the link that I'll put right up here and on the end screen, talking about Ethereum and why it makes sense to buy in the next few days. Now, moving on to some smaller altcoin news. We talked about this on the channel. Polygon and DraftKings have entered into a strategic blockchain collaboration. This is going to be important because DraftKings is actually a validator now, or they're going to become a validator, which means they actually have to hold Polygon. Polygon has also made a lot of other big news. Polygon becoming more independent from Ethereum as app numbers rise. More than 3,000 apps are on the Layer 2 platform. Now, I've talked about Polygon as recently as this week. I've talked about it before, but I talked about it again this week that this is one of the altcoins to buy. And since I talked about it, it's up 7% in the last 24 hours. October 20, I talked about why this is one of the cryptos to own right now. I'll put this on the end screen and I'll put it up here too, so you can check out this video if you're interested. Now, Polygon just made another big collaboration or another big partnership with a very large company that I actually work with. So it's actually Unstoppable Domains, and this just came out in the last few days after DraftKings. But I do want to talk to you about it and talk about what Polygon does and why it's so important in crypto today. So if you don't know what Polygon is, I'll kind of explain it a little bit here. So Unstoppable Domains is saying goodbye to gas fees. Today, we're thrilled to announce Polygon as our Layer 2 scaling solution, which will allow them to make NFT domains free to claim and manage starting in just a few weeks on November 15th. Now, if you don't know what Polygon is, also known as Matic, if you don't know what that is, that's fine. I'm going to show you a clip from Unstoppable trying to describe why this Polygon solution is so important and how it can save people so much money instead of using Ethereum directly.
An easy way to think of this is to imagine the difference between an all-inclusive vacation abroad, where you pay once for everything, versus a vacation where you need to pay for every meal and service you use each time. For the all-inclusive trip, you only need to pay currency exchange once. However, with the other trip, if your bank charges a currency exchange for every time you use your card, you'd incur a lot of additional fees over time. So in the all-inclusive vacation, everything you eat, drink, and the services you use are all batched into a single transaction, and you don't need to worry about paying commission every time you perform a transaction. So how do Layer 2 solutions work? Like the previous all-inclusive vacation example, Layer 2 solutions allow us to package multiple transactions, such as minting domains, trading domains, and all other activities, and submit them all as one transaction after a program period of time. So when all the transactions that occur in Layer 2 are settled, all of them get batched into this one transaction and then are sent back to the main blockchain so it all gets recorded there. This way, instead of executing hundreds or thousands of transactions where each user needs to pay gas for each transaction, energy, computational power, and gas fees are saved as everything gets batched into one single transaction on the main blockchain.
So what does this mean now that they're moving to Polygon? Well, it allows them to make NFT domains free to claim and manage on L2 starting in a few weeks. This is going to be really important because it is their mission to onboard 3 billion people to the decentralized web by making NFT domains more accessible to everyone. So customers will be able to buy NFT domains and make updates to domains without having to pay claim fees, renewal fees, or gas fees. Now, one of the reasons I like Unstoppable so much is because you can actually plug in your wallet and you can make it much simpler to send payments, but over time, people will use this for other things. They see some of the everyday uses will be able to connect wallets to their domains for payments, host and edit decentralized websites such as blogs, NFT galleries, without having to worry about paying gas fees. That's going to be huge because this is going to save clients, customers, $165 in gas per year, assuming 10 transactions. Now, some people do way more than that, but the thing to keep in mind is Unstoppable Domains is trying to get this mainstream, right? They're trying to make crypto, they're trying to make unstoppable domains, they're trying to make decentralized domains mainstream, and they can't do that if people have to spend $165 a year just in gas fees. So this was a huge step in the right direction to change this to help mainstream adoption take place. The reason they picked Polygon was because fees are 1,000 times cheaper than Ethereum, and they have a huge amount of support of different wallets, dApps, and exchanges. Now, they have been working with a lot of different wallets too. They just came out with that huge wallet alliance news. So I think Polygon is a crypto you have to look at. It's one of my top 10 cryptos that I actually hold, and you should definitely pay attention to Unstoppable. There's a link underneath the video to go get your own domain today. Full disclosure, I do work with Unstoppable Domains, but I love the company. Now, Polkadot also unveiled a $770 million development fund ahead of parachain auctions. So these are scheduled for just a few weeks from now. This is a huge moneymaker if you are able to pick the next parachain winner from the parachain auctions. People on Kusama made 100x. So can you do that? Possibly. And they're giving a lot of money in their development fund to try to build out their ecosystem. This is going to be a huge amount of money that can be spread out capitalize the market, give people incentives to build on Polkadot. Now, one other piece of news, Binance had their next burn, their 17th burn. They burned about $640 million worth of BNB, over 1.3 million BNB. Huge amount, and they're going to continue to burn quarter in and quarter out. They also announced a $1 billion fund to help build their ecosystem. So these companies are burning through cash because they are making so much. They are just trying to grow everything as quickly as possible. This is a great time to be interested in crypto. There's so much money, there's so much going on, there's so much potential. Let me know which piece of news was your favorite from the week. What gets you most excited? What are you watching for this next week? Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.